Ooh. Hello, members of the Burnettwork. It is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, your sommelier of sci-fi, yada, 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 yada. Your members, you've heard it all before. This is our first members-only spoilerific conversation, which really means it's up to you. I don't know what you want to talk about. I'm here for you. You are members of this channel, and everybody involved with this channel thanks you for your membership. So our way of giving back is doing these chats. These chats for all of you to discuss what you want. You don't have to send me super chats. You don't have to send me anything. You've already shown your support. Thank you very much. Let me give something back. My time, my infinite patience, whatever you want. Let's talk about WandaVision, because that's what I want to talk about. WandaVision. This last episode of WandaVision, I guess, I haven't looked, but when I watched it, it was just called Episode 6. Like, there was no, we interrupt this broadcast or anything. It was just Episode 6, which I thought, well, that sounds like a Star Wars title. But anyway, it's not a Star Wars title. And I gotta say, I am loving WandaVision. I love the very apocalyptic ending of this, where one of our characters seemingly was consumed by an ever-expanding hex. I honestly, to be honest with you, I don't know what's happening in this show. I mean, I'm following it. I'm like, we got old Quicksilver. I'll tell you one thing, though. I never thought that I would enjoy owning a Tonner doll of Wanda Maximoff more than I do now, to be honest. I'm so happy to have this. I love having this. These are great dolls. This company, I think, went out of business, or they ended their business in 2018, but they made awesome both DC and Marvel characters. And this doll was a convention exclusive. It's a quarter scale. It's a convention exclusive that I bought at the San Diego Comic-Con. And they made other very much more ornate dolls, but I like this doll because it had red hair. But now, who would have thought WandaVision would be a TV show? I didn't. So having that is fantastic. The episode is titled "The All New Halloween Spooktacular." Well, there you go. I don't know if they even had that. They'd figured that out yet, because when I started watching it, I was there literally at midnight, ready to rock and watch this. The week before, I couldn't get on to Disney Plus for a long time because of how many people were on there. So there you go. So Roy Kirk says, Jackson Roy Kirk says, I guess I'm in the wrong chat. I still haven't watched episode 6. This is a spoiler chat. Spoiler chat. This show is nuts and I love it. Justin, do you mean this show, our show, or do you mean WandaVision? Joshua Levesque says, I think Wanda's mostly in control, but there's someone else at least helping, and I think it's Evan Peters. He's got to be either Mephisto or Nightmare. I'm leaning towards Mephisto. I keep seeing that it's, but I don't know, man, because that's a big leap. I mean, I know we've got Asgard and we've got the Guardians of the Galaxy, but to bring in Mephisto, I mean, maybe it is, probably it is. I just feel like this show is so bonkers already that to bring in essentially the devil, or an incarnation of kind of the devil, it's odd for me. I going so supernatural with it, but who knows? And we don't know, Justin, what poor Darcy. We don't know what poor Darcy is doing in the Hex, or what's happening. What was she tuned into or turned into? I don't know. I can't wait to see. But there was so much goodness. I mean, they even made a kick-ass joke, like kick-ass. It's so, the show gets so meta between the actual sitcom stuff. And what was up with that commercial? Like, normally I'm like, are these commercials all about the Infinity Stones? But this was like, magic will destroy you, or Mr. Shark will give you something that you think is good for you, but it'll actually lead to your demise, meaning has someone tempted her? I mean, it's very interesting, because here's my worry about the show. I'm loving this show. Love it. But what I worry about is, are they like how did Wanda Maximoff get suckered into this? I mean, when you think about it, it's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put a magical hex around this entire town, and we're going to turn this town into, sitcoms, and we're going to change every day is going to be like a different decade and of perfect sitcom life, the way it's been portrayed. It's so outlandish. Like, I really hope they address the idea of whoever tempted Wanda with this, or whoever said, hey, come with me, Wanda, I'm going to ease your pain. However that's going to work out, it's pretty off the wall what they're doing. So now we've got 3 more episodes, and I really hope, I've been reading online, these episodes are all going to be an hour long, which I could believe, because this episode 6 seemed like it was 5 minutes long. Justin says, Rob, that commercial was a big hit, that someone or something is manipulating Wanda. Oh, I agree. The shark said, I was hungry until I ate yo magic, as in your magic. Oh, I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. Stubble says, maybe they won't introduce elements of Fantastic Four or X-Men in WandaVision, but it's a lost opportunity if they don't. It feels like altered biochemistry of those that passed through the field hints at X-Men, but who knows? Here's the thing about that. I think about that too, but I'm like, would they do that? Would they make all of this, like, if the mutants in the MCU are brought in because of Wanda Maximoff, I think in a way that doesn't sit well with me. I don't like the idea that mutants were almost created as a cheat or something. I don't know. Martino Sumoni is here. Martino sending in. You're already a member. You're not supposed to send in super chats. Or thank you though. No, there's a merch store. If you go like on all of our things on the bottom of YouTube, there's a merch store. I've got to adjust it though, because it doesn't have everything in there. I have to say, I have 2 merch stores. You can go to TeePublic, which is cheap. They have nice t-shirts and stuff, or Teespring, which is much more expensive, but they have better clothes. And I need to upgrade that. But so on the YouTube page below the screen, there should be, when you go to the Burnettwork channel, merch. But I have to combine the 2 stores, which they're not that way. But Martino, you've been very generous. Thank you for supporting the channel. It's great to have friends like you for the channel, which is great. So yeah, no, you don't have to be sorry. Are you kidding me? Never apologize unless you've done something to your lady. It is Valentine's Day. Hope everyone's having a nice Valentine's Day. We're not really doing much because you can't really go out. I got Elizabeth some spaghetti and meatballs from our local Italian pizza place. Pretty good. Roykirk, is this your first one? Speaking of the merch store, the Robservations hoodies are out of stock. What? How can they be out of stock? Well, that sucks. I love the Robservations. Those hoodies, the merch store is really good. There is an Ace shirt. We have them. They're really good. I have they're really good, actually. Brian Heppert says, you see his corpse with injuries from Age of Ultron. Weird how they're converging the versions of Quicksilver like that. It's crazy. Stubble says, are there going to be mugs with your logo in the store? There are mugs already. You can get mugs of all the different merch. I just don't like the fact that mugs are too small. I like big coffee mugs. Give me a big coffee mug. I don't like your standard. And who decided that was the standard? I'm from Seattle. Starbucks started in Seattle. Like, my blood is part coffee. So, Josh says, Rob, do you think Vision died or came close to death when he was outside the Hex in episode 6? I don't think that's really Vision. I think that's a complete creation. I think Vision is actually dead. But I think now he's back to whatever he was supposed to be. I don't know if he remembers or anything. Justin says, another big reveal was Darcy telling Monica her cells have been all altered by the Hex twice already. That's how she's getting her powers. Or she already had her powers and they're being augmented. Roykirk says, 22 ounces, baby. That's right. You can never have too much coffee. That's what I say. That's what I say. So yeah. Justin says Hayward is a shady guy. They were up to no good with Vision's body. Project Cataract. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they were. I don't know if they've got Ultron in there. I don't know if they're trying to build more, continue putting in armor around the world. I have no idea. But I just the show is so interesting. I watch it and I'm like, wow, this is it's very compelling television, and I quite enjoy it. So, yeah, but I love it. By the way, what did you guys all think of the Snyder Cut trailer? That's what the show today is about, because I just looked at it and I'm like, this is the most metal thing ever. I finally decided that and for me, and you'll hear me say this again, it looks like a heavy metal album cover from like the 70s or 80s, like a prog rock record cover from the 70s. I can't wait. Josh said, love that Jimmy Woo card trick scene. I love that too. Here's my card. I think it's great. I think it's amazing. Rob, when will we have an Inglorious Trexperts crossover show on Robservations? That's a good idea. I would have to ask Mark and Darren if they want to come on, and I think we could do that. I think that would be great. We did our first Clubhouse after party the other day. I don't understand these new apps, whether it's like Stereo or Clubhouse where it's audio only, but I guess we'll see. Roy Kirk says, not sold in the Snyder Cut, and what's with the aspect ratio 4:3? It's been finished in the IMAX aspect ratio, so which is basically 4:3, but yeah, it's square because it's IMAX, and I want to see it in IMAX. I really want to see it in IMAX. So, yeah, we shall see. Stub McShave says the series would be okay if it was released all at once, but the weekly release makes it great. Stubble, I agree with you. You know what? I really, I was used to watching things over and over again, and you watch something and you mull over it and it sort of marinate in your brain. I mean, that's how I grew up. You'd watch movies over and over again. Nowadays, there's even streaming shows that I love, like The Queen's Gambit. Loved it while I was watching it. But, you binge it, you watch the whole thing, and it's in one ear and out the other. It's almost like, the way I used to read horror novels. I would buy so many horror novels, and you read them. I mean, you read the whole book, and I concentrate, and then it's gone. You pick up another book, and I don't like the fact that I don't remember anything. Like, I sit with Elizabeth, and we watch movies, and if it's something I watched incessantly when I was younger, I can toss off a lines of dialogue. I can never remember anything anymore, and it's not just because I'm older. It's because I guess my mind isn't open. You're just waiting to get to the end of the story. Tell me the story. Like those Harlan Corbin series that Netflix does. They'll do like 10 episodes, and they're all really interesting and good, murder mysteries or things like that. But when they're done, you can't remember them. So Martino says, please don't spoil the third episode of Super Train. I'm still at the first act. Lots of perms and booze. Are you watching Super Train? I always thought the train was cool. Justin says the weekly release have been a big plus for WandaVision. I agree. I totally agree with that because you're watching this stuff and you ponder, you think about it, like what's actually going on here. And I think they're really doing, once they've sort of brought the sitcom and then the real world things together, the way they've put those. I mean, I thought this week's episode was great. It was totally different, really creepy. Like the farther away he got from the center or from his own house, the Vision just found these people in a state of like frozen creepiness. I thought that was great. Really, really, really enjoyed that. And it was really weird. Julian Mushkin says, I thought there was something significant about Pietro Maximoff as Quicksilver in the credits. Also, yeah, and it was also like the T. It was like Peter Maximoff, absolutely, as himself. Totally that was something significant. I mean, there was so many allusions to things. And they really, are they going to explain the difference between Aaron Taylor Johnson's Pietro Maximoff and Peter Maximoff. It's very interesting. I don't know. Cinema Gulp says, I think the next episode of WandaVision should be in the format of The Office to represent the 2000s. Well, this episode was kind of Malcolm in the Middle, which took us to the middle of the aughts, but it could be. That would be perfect. What do you think? I would love that. I mean, I think they could get into that style. Sub McShave says, we have too much great content, so we don't get to watch things many times, which makes you a super fan of something. There's always something new. I know. We have so much great stuff to watch. I mean, there's so much good stuff, and it's frustrating. And you can't you see it all, but then you can't. It's almost like I can't enjoy it as much. It's like this great meal, and you sit down. And I'm like, I'm gonna gobble it all up as fast as I can, and then you're done. And on to the next. Like, you don't sit there and go, savor your food, take a little single bite. And Ricky B says, how many people are talking about WandaVision during the week? Like, everybody. I love that everybody's talking about it during the week. I think it's great. I do love that. R&B Josh Rosowskis says he can't chat, so he's sending me his messages. I think Pietro is either Nightmare or Mephisto, but who knows where this is going. I sent you a Twitter DM the other day, but I don't know if you got it. Was that about your friend and the music? Is it too late to promote her? My best friend just had a new song come out. Would you mind if I put her link in the Robservations chat for everyone to check out? No. Please put it in. I saw that you sent me the link. I keep forgetting about that. That's my bad. I apologize. But like Ricky B said, everyone's talking about WandaVision during the week. I mean, there hasn't been so much chatter about a show. I can't remember the last time there was so much chatter about this show or a show or any show. Cinema Gulp says, well, the end credits are relentless, man. So friggin' long. Yeah, unfortunately, I know they have to put those credits on there contractually, but they're like feature-length film credits. And on a half an hour show, it's frustrating. The credits on the beginning are long, and the end credits are really long. I mean, I tune out after the please stand by. Of course, you have to watch the credits because you never know. I'm sure the last episode they're going to drop a post-credit scene, but you don't know. So you have to watch you don't want to miss it. So you have to sit through. I mean, I like it because you get to hear the different music and the theme songs that they wrote and everything. But Mephisto or Nightmare or Reed Richards, whoever they're talking about going to see, I'm there for it. I don't know. John Campy called me up and said, what if the astrophysicist is Rocket Raccoon? And I'm like, that's interesting. I mean, we don't know how much time really. The thing is, though, I guess it wouldn't be because this is taking place 3 weeks after people returned from the blip. And if it was going on, everybody that was at Tony Stark's funeral would probably. I don't understand why. I mean, I guess swords, they have their own jurisdiction, but why hasn't anyone called the Avengers? Like, hello? Call Doctor Strange. So we got to get him over there. Brian Hepburn says, I cracked up when one asked, what happened to your accent? Pietro said, what happened to yours? Oh, no, all that stuff was great. Now it's getting so meta and self-reflexive about everything. It's very, it's just great. Scotty says, Reed Richards could be. I mean, that would be the kind of thing that they would do to introduce the Fantastic Four, or it would be the way they introduce Reed Richards, and now Reed Richards becomes a character, and we get introduced to Ben Grimm as a human, and we get introduced to Sue and Johnny Storm, and then we actually get to see them. We're going to get to know them in their pre-Fantastic Four selves, and then we're actually going to watch them have their accident within the MCU, which I think is great. Sub McShave says, it would be difficult to come up with a title for a Wheel of Time show on the Burnettwork. There are so many YouTube channels and podcasts, so the best puns are already taken. Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know. I'd have to read all the books to do a Wheel of Time show. Tom Jr. Jackson says, Black Phillip and I have been talking a lot about WandaVision. Yeah, no, I've been thinking about it all the time. I think it's just great. Cinema Gulp says, talk about meta. What about when Wanda drops the line kick ass? I thought that was hysterical. Kick ass. I mean, again, they're really playing with that whole idea of the metaverse, I guess. They're breaking the fourth wall by doing that into our realm, into us as the viewers' realm. And that's why I think it's so amazing. It's so self-reflexive and strange and breaking not only the walls between their realities but our reality. It's crazy. I think that it's great. A DKG Custom says, funny I didn't get any notification for this. I just found it on Facebook. That's strange. Did you hit that bell? Do you hit that notification bell? I don't know why. I've noticed that in the last 24 hours, we've lost 50 subscribers. Maybe because that's all about political rhetoric, or maybe it's just the purge or something. I don't know how that works. Today's show is going to be fun, though. I'm going to talk about that Snyder Cut and how it's so metal. Like, it's the metalest shit ever. It's unbelievable, that trailer. I mean, it is just like it's like looking at an album cover version of superheroes from 1982 or even before. It's pretty amazing. Ziggy says notifications on but no note. That's strange. Well, at least there's more people. Wow, that's weird. I don't know why. Tom Jr. Jackson says, what if this is not all about Wanda, but really about Vision? I mean, really, who is Haywood? I don't know. I don't like the idea. I'll tell you one of the things. The only misstep that I had with WandaVision was I didn't like that his heel turn. He turned so quickly on Monica. They clearly had a great relationship at first, and now in the middle of this crazy situation that he sent Monica out to monitor, to find what's going on out there. And she's out there, and you'd think now he's being like a dick all of a sudden. Did he already know this was happening? But I don't know. I mean, those answers have to come. But there are questions. The more I watch, I love the show, but now there's a lot of logistical questions that I have about how this whole thing works. And I'm sure, seeing how well thought out it is going to feel fulfilling in the end. I really hope they stick that landing, but you never know. You never know. So we'll see. Ziggy says the Snyder Cut trailer was epic. Fantastic visuals. Hope it's on 4K Blu-ray soon. I think they've announced that it is. I definitely want to get it on 4K Blu-ray. What I'm going to do, I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to have a full-on day where I'm going to watch Man of Steel, the ultimate cut of Batman v Superman, and then I'm going to watch all 4 hours of Snyder's Justice League, because it really appears, it feels like it's a Superman story ultimately. It's Zack Snyder's vision of Superman. How does Superman become Superman? And I would assume at the end of Justice League, unless people are saying that the movie actually does end 5 years later with Apocalypse having conquered the Earth, which, what's more metal than that? I think that's amazing. Sub McShave says, I wonder if they'll stick the landing on WandaVision. All the buildup may come crashing down if the ending feels off. I agree. I don't know what's going to happen, but I hope they actually stick that landing. I really do. So yeah, we shall see. But yeah, the show. I mean, it's so good. Like having the original Quicksilver uniform from the comics. When Evan Peters is wearing that, thought it was hilarious, and seeing Wiccan and Speed developing right out of the comics. We're watching the Young Avengers grow right before our very eyes. So it's pretty neat. Pretty neat. Mike says he's uploaded a special Valentine's Day gift for all the PGS members for the rest of the day. Enjoy. Ooh, I wonder what that means. Hershey's Chocolate Kisses for everybody. Stub McShave says, do you know if Justice League will be available on other streamers in areas that don't have HBO Max? I don't know. They probably have deals, whatever Warner Brothers has in place, because if they don't, it's going to be like one of the most pirated shows in the world. So I would imagine that they would. But who knows? I don't know. I don't know what their licensing agreements are like or anything like that. But we'll see. Again, it's hard to say, but man, I'm there for it. Whatever it is, I hope you guys get to see it because it looks really cool. I'm excited. I think it's great. Joshua Levesque says, please go to the official Tango Shalom YouTube page and subscribe. Yeah, please do that. It's currently available at the whatchamacallit. The San Diego the 31st San Diego Jewish International Film Festival, and it starts in Charlotte, North Carolina at their Jewish Film Festival, and then it'll be at it's going to be in Sacramento at their Jewish Film Festival, and then other regular film festivals, and it's all online, so you can see it. I don't encourage this, but if you have a VPN, I think you can beat that region coding business and see Tango Shalom. Also on Tuesday, the mysterious animated series that I have been working on is going to be announced by Netflix, and I think they're going to do it with a clip, but the trailer for it's going to be released on Friday. And I'll tell you guys, I'll tell you this: on Friday, I'm going to have guests on the show that I'm going to do a show about the making of this animated series. And I'll give you a hint. If you're a gamer and you like certain games, let's put it that way, specifically a certain game. Let's see. What should I how would I call this? Yeah, strategy video game. I guess that's what it is. Yeah, if you know anything about games, I think the show might mean something to you. Tom Jr. Jackson says, what if Haywood is really Ultron in disguise? That'd be cool. I know they did something like it on the Avengers Assemble cartoon where Ultron was in disguise. What if that's really who he is? I think that would be pretty neat. I think it'd be good. Roy Kirk says, that really narrows it down, Rob. Laugh out loud. Angry Birds? No, not Angry Birds. No, this thing is, it kicks ass. I wonder if I could, I will say this. It deals with online multiplayer gameplay. That's what I can say, I guess. Online multiplayer gameplay. That's all I can tell you. So it will get announced on Tuesday. I don't know when on Tuesday, but it's going to get announced on Tuesday. So Stubble says, do you think the Oscars will still happen in person? They're talking about doing some in-person component. It depends. If they want to change it, they should come out with that information rather soon. By the way, it would be cool if Tango Shalom got some Oscar recognition. We were thinking about that. We could actually send it in, but it didn't quite qualify or something. Roy Kirk says Command and Conquer. Nope, not Command and Conquer. Although that'd be cool. So yeah, the Richard says Tuesday. So Tuesday it's announced. I'll tell you something funny too. So there's of this animated series. It's 3 seasons, and it's 3 seasons of 8 episodes. And I have seen 23 of the episodes. And so what I do is I work on what's called the animatic. And I edit the animatic, the last pass of the animatic that I do. So what goes out of my computer goes to Korea and gets animated. So the end of the 23rd episode, my jaw was on the floor. I'm like, wait, what? What? I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I can't. What? And I said to Ashley, I'm like, what the hell's going to happen for the last episode? and I'm dying to see it. And there's a second version of the animatic that came in from Korea, and I'm like, I can't, because Ashley likes me to watch the animatic with him. Ashley Miller, who's the showrunner, to gauge my reaction. I think that's why he's had me working on the show since the beginning, because he wants me as a sounding board to tell him whether I love it or not. And I'm just like, I can't wait to see where the show goes in this final episode. I don't know if they're going to give us more than 3 seasons, but the first season is 8 episodes. So it'll get announced on the 16th, and then the trailer drop. I think they're going to have a clip with the announcement, and then the trailer drops. The trailer's epic too, by the way. And then they will drop the series in March. So that's pretty cool. Julian Mishkin says, it's Mushkin, not Mishkin. Julian Mushkin says, here's a question from left field. Will Star Trek ever become public domain in the future? I doubt it. They're gonna figure all that out, how to stop that from happening. I don't think it will. They'll figure that out. Cinema Gulp says, how frickin' nutty would it be if it was revealed that all of the people working for Sword are actually Skrulls? I think that'd be pretty dope. And what if they were all Skrulls, but they had nothing to do with what's going on inside the Hex? You know, Sword was, and I was thinking, aren't they already tied in? Because we did see Sam Jackson hanging out with them. But yeah, I think that would be pretty nutty. DKG Custom says, ooh, he knows. Well, don't spill the beans. If you think you really know, don't. DKG Custom says, does the show have a character called Jonesy? No, it does not. Andrew Christie says, hey, Rob, apparently the last 3 episodes of WandaVision are an hour each. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I hope the rumor is true. I hope too. Stub McShave says, how long are the episodes of the animated series? They are 22 minutes long. So they're short. They're like a standard half an hour animated series. So they're 22 minutes. But there's a lot of story packed into those 22 minutes. I will say this, Stubble. I think this will particularly appeal to your sensibilities. What it is will particularly appeal to your sensibilities. So, and yes, it would be fun to, well, I can't. I'll just be curious to hear what you all think. It's funny because I have all the episodes right here on my computer, and I could theoretically share my screen and play them. Although, to be honest, DKG Custom, maybe the show, maybe what you're thinking does have a character named Jonesy, and I just don't know it. I only know all the characters that are on the show. And also, when people start finding out about the voice cast, who the voice cast is, it's pretty epic. Pretty epic. Stubble says, so it's a fantasy show. Is it? Could be. Maybe. Shouldn't say anything. Tom Jr. Jackson says, what if in some way WandaVision is connected to the new Secret Star Wars show? Secret War show. Star Wars show. The new Secret War show. I think it probably is. Somehow. Although I don't know. Chris says, come on, Rob. Show us a 2-second preview. You know what? You know what's funny about that? Okay. Let's see. See, I don't want to get, I don't want anybody to get angry with me, but let me see if I can. Hang on. Let me see if I can. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I moved them off the. I don't have the. I can't. I was gonna pull something off this and show it to you, but I moved them. They're on a drive that's not connected to my computer right now, so I can't do that because I had to reconnect some other things to do for my computer, which has been chattering away, taking hours and hours and hours to do things. DKG Custom says, laughing my tits off with Rob keeping mum on this show. I know I can't do it. Loose lips sink ships. Just wait till Tuesday. Come on, Rob. Show us a 2-second preview. I don't think we'll be able to milk more out of Rob. You can't milk more out of me. I can't tell you. The Richard says, I believe Nightmare is fueling Wanda's subconscious, amplifying her powers. Some are more lucid than others, or another. I think that could be. That could be. Brian Hepburn's like peer pressure. I can't do it. Can't do it. Wouldn't be prudent. What did Andrew Christie say? What did he say? What did Andrew say? Andrew said. Anyway. Stub McShave said, good save there. You moved them. No, I was going to show you something. No, I really did move them, and Mike Bodden could tell you I had to move them because I've been doing an ongoing project this week where I have been transferring about 6 terabytes of data onto these drives, but the drives I'm transferring them onto are not Thunderbolt drives. They're much slower. So it's been grinding away doing that for literally days. DKG Custom said, I had a friend showing a sneak peek of the latest Jurassic Park, showed a screen grab of the edit timeline. I could do that. I could show a screen grab of the edit timeline. That would be pretty funny. Yeah. But I really shouldn't. I really shouldn't do that. I could show you my credit, maybe. My credit in the end titles, what it looks like. What's really interesting about this animated show that I find fascinating in this day and age, I looked. If you do a Google search, there is literally zero about this show. There's nothing anywhere. And they've kept this so clamped down, which I find such a strange thing because I would think that they would want, I guess, on the 16th, I'll tell you something else. I'll give you another little bit of insight. It's not just Netflix. It's another company that owns the IP. And that other company, when it's announced, I think people are going to be like, oh. Chris says, Steftanogel? Is that how you pronounce that's a tough last name to say. I'd have to hear it pronounced. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much are you anticipating the new Star Trek Strange New Worlds on Paramount Plus? You know what? I want it to be good, but I don't have any faith in the people that are writing Star Trek now. I have zero faith in them. And I'd like it to be good. I don't think they're capable of writing good Star Trek. I don't think they know what it is. But maybe. The Richard says, I still believe Nightmare is involved. All of that Yo Magic. He and some others could be draining her and feeding off her. I agree with that. I think that's pretty good. Joshua says, anyone else catch how Pietro conveniently knocked on the door as fake Vision was convincing Wanda that what she was doing was wrong? That's why I think the villain has to be Evan Peters. Yeah, but I think what's really interesting about that is even the villain then would have access to the multiverse. And that is fascinating to me. I don't know how they're going to do that. Stubble says, who would you like to see as a showrunner for a new Star Trek series? You know what? Ron Moore. I'd love to see Ron Moore come back and do it. But I know he's doing For All Mankind, which I can't wait to see. Roy Kirk says, agreeing with you 100% about the capabilities of those currently in charge of Star Trek. I just don't think that I have no faith that they can make what a Star Trek show is, because they're too bent on trying to change Star Trek into something else, which I think is not. It's just, I don't think they know how to do it. Martino says R&B involvement doesn't mean it's fantasy, but will guarantee it's fantastic. Well, thank you. I wouldn't say necessarily that, but it's fantastic because the people involved really know what they're doing. There is a real vision behind the show, and even though it's animated, and it kind of starts out, the first episode's rather, I call it traditional, but it becomes very wacky very quickly, in a good way. Ziggy says, did you ever play the Starfleet Battles board game? I loved Starfleet Battles. Loved it. And I had a lot of the lead miniatures as well, and the plastic miniatures too. Med 6, wait, these things are being Med6814 says, I believe it could be Agnes. She wants to hang around a lot, and she's been hard to get rid of. I agree, unless she too is being manipulated. I think she has something to do with it, though. Tom Jr. Jackson says, has anyone noticed that Vision Stone has not been glowing? Yeah, I think that there's not the Mind Stone. It's not the Mind Stone. Rob, how fantastic was For All Mankind? I told you so. I loved it. I love For All Mankind. It just got better and better and better. I loved it. I thought it was great. Martino says, what was the Robservations intro music inspired by? It somehow reminds me of something. Like my brain knows, but it won't tell. I'll tell you. You know what it was? So the Alexander Bornstein, who did the music for the Prelude to Axanar feature short film, and who was going to do the music for the Axanar feature film, he wrote that theme for me for a show that I was trying to develop that Mike Bodden did a lookbook for called Do Not Disturb. And it was going to be, we were going to shoot it at our studio, and it was going to be a series set in a hotel room. This is before HBO did their Duplass Brothers movie, but it was going to be the same hotel room, or actually not the same room like they're doing, but it was the series was set in a hotel room. That's why it was called Do Not Disturb, but it was hotel rooms throughout time and space, and it was all self-contained stories, so we could build the set and shuffle it around. And Bornstein wrote that piece of music for the pitch. And I liked it so much, and I told him, I said, I want it to be vaguely like Amazing Stories, but you have to be able to whistle it. The da-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. I mean, it's a much longer piece of music than you hear on the show. And that's what I really wanted. And so, you never really hear it. As a matter of fact, let's see if I can find it. If I can find the file. There's multiple ideas. Let's see. D&D theme idea. I don't know if this is the actual one. I don't even know if I can upload this, but I could play you the whole. Let me see if I can get that media file, and I wonder if it'll play. I don't know if it'll play in this. I've never tried playing it like that in this. Let's see what an interesting experiment that would be. Maybe it would. Let's see if I can play this for you. Here, I'll play it for you right now, and you can hear the entire piece of music. So there you go. There's the entire Robservations theme song as the full-on piece of music. It's got a lot of Danny Elfman in there, and I had the idea I was going to do for a whole opening title sequence, and I figured, well, it's really cool. And I can't, at the beginning I would play the whole thing, but it's like a minute long, and nobody would stand still for that. So yeah, so that's what it was, and I thought it was pretty cool. I'm glad you guys liked it. I've never really played that before for anybody. So look, it's one of the perks of being a member here at the Burnettwork. You get all kinds. I have all kinds of crazy stuff on my computer. I could just go through my computer and show you things that I probably shouldn't show you, but here they are. I can do that on these streams. So, yes. So there you go. Chris says, call La La Land Records. Yeah, I would love to call La La Land Records and have them put it on there. Joseph says, rewatch the TNG episode, Remember Me. Is that the Dr. Crusher in the Warp Bubble episode? I love that episode. I think that's a great episode. I love that episode of TNG. I think it's really good. And again, Gates McFadden really, she shines in that episode. That's, it's great. I like that a lot. It works. I think it's one of the best in terms of what I call a meat and potatoes episode of Star Trek, meaning it's not Yesterday's Enterprise or the best of both worlds, but it's just a solid episode of science fiction entertainment. Remember Me has a really interesting concept, a cool sci-fi concept that I think is really well executed. I thought it was good. So, yeah, I like that. Well, listen, everyone. 45 minutes. I have to go eat something and go do Robservations today, which is going to happen at 2:30, and I won't be late to talk about how metal the Zack Snyder trailer is. But this has been fun. This has been a good chat. I think there's like 26 people here, so that's all good. And yeah, so I'm going to end this chat now. And I will see you back on the show in 45 minutes. And once again, let me just stress, thank you all for being members. It means a lot to this channel. We're trying to do things, doing a lot for the channel. I know I'm a little behind. Somebody wrote that they're really pissed about the film festival. I'm like, well, I wanted more people. I'm trying to get more people to watch the films, actually. But yeah, I'm wrapping that up, and I'm going to do the big semifinal show with the filmmakers hopefully in a week, depending on how I can get everybody recorded. So that is all in process. So that should be fun. I can't wait to do that. And on that note, I would say, I don't even have to say what I'm going to say, because you already know. But I will be back. I'll be back. We'll do another one of these. I want to do like 2 or 3 of these a week, and just to see what you all want. So I will be seeing you shortly. A lot of good letters today. It's a little bit political, but how can you not be where we're at now? So I'll see you guys after I've eaten lunch back on Robservations. Once again, thank you for being members, and from the bottom of my heart and from Mike Bawden's heart, and I know all the people that work on the channel, all of our moderators, I want to thank you for your continued generous support. And we're trying to make this show and the channel bigger and better than ever before. We have plans. We have plans. So there you go. And on that note, I will say to all of you, well, I'll see you shortly. That's what I'll say to all of you. All right. Bye-bye.